Vice President Kamala Harris briefly paused her campaigning Thursday to react to the death of the leader of Hamas.
Today, I can only hope that the families of the victims of Hamas feel a sense and measure of relief. Sinwar was the mastermind of October 7, the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust.
She made the remarks in Wisconsin, where she's doing a one-day tour across 3 major cities in the swing state. She's now visited the Badger State 6 times during her campaign. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is in New York to speak at an annual Catholic charity dinner, a decades-old tradition for presidential candidates. I want to bring in CBS News political reporter Zach Hudak, who's covering Vice President Harris's campaign, and CBS News campaign reporter Olivia Rinaldi, who's been following former President Trump. Olivia, we heard the vice president react to the killing of Yahya Sinwar. Is the Trump campaign saying anything?
Hey, good evening, Lindsay. We have not heard any official response from the Trump campaign on this killing yet. The Trump War Room, which is a Twitter account associated with the rapid response of the campaign, tweeted something similar to what you heard from Vice President Kamala Harris, which was that Yahya Sinwar was part of the largest attack on Jewish people since the Holocaust, and condemning that attack. But advisors close to the campaign on foreign policy spoke with Arfin Gomez, our political director, about what this could mean for the future of this fight, this Israeli fight against Hamas. Something that they said is that they're still concerned about sanctions relief and money that could be given to Iran that would then be transferred to proxies like Hamas, giving them more teeth in this fight against Israel. That's someone who is close to the Trump campaign, an advisor on foreign policy, and the concerns he's showing there. So they're still admitting that there's a lot to be done about this issue, especially depending on how this election goes come November, who is going to be in the White House come January, and how they're going to handle this type of issue. Again, no official comment yet, but expressing concern about perhaps the vacuum of power that this could create.
Zach, what is Harris's strategy in Wisconsin, and how do you read her support in the swing state?
Lindsay, both in Wisconsin and more generally, I think what we're seeing right now from the Harris campaign is a pivot back to sort of the public image that she used to have, which is that of a prosecutor. She's coming out much more aggressively against former President Trump than she was previously, and doing things like we saw earlier this week in Erie. She played a series of clips from him where he was saying various inflammatory things and saying that there was an enemy within, and she was almost presenting the evidence and then continuing on and saying, look at the danger of reelecting this man. So I think we're going to continue to see that in Wisconsin. The other new pivot we've seen from her is a new focus on getting black men to go to the polls. I think that's the result of some fears within her campaign that they may have difficulty with that in cities like Milwaukee and like Pennsylvania, which are and like Philadelphia, which are needed to win Wisconsin, to win Pennsylvania. She's concerned about getting black voters out to the polls in those urban areas and countering the rural areas that in the recent cycles we've seen surging for President Trump. So I think those are the 2 main things to look out for when she's on the ground there.
Olivia, tell us the significance of the Al Smith dinner and why Trump is speaking there.
Yeah, well, it's an annual dinner. It's hosted by the Archdiocese in New York for Catholic charities, so really important there. And even though it's annual, it holds a significance really in presidential years, because it's kind of the last moment that we see these 2 presidential candidates together. They attend this dinner usually together for a meal. They sit down. There's a little bit of humor involved, a little bit of a roast. Donald Trump in 2016 participated in this with Hillary Clinton at the time. This did not happen in 2020 due to COVID, but it was really a moment, that last moment, for a little bit of bipartisanship and patriotism. But we know that this year Vice President Kamala Harris will not be there, and instead she'll be in Wisconsin tonight campaigning. And this is the first time since 1984 that a presidential candidate has not joined in this dinner. So interesting to note there, Donald Trump will be there. He will be a featured speaker, and we're told that Vice President Kamala Harris will be delivering remarks via Zoom, pre-recorded remarks that she will be taking part in. So she will still be there virtually, not in person, and it's a little bit of a missing moment for that bipartisanship. Even Cardinal Dolan saying earlier today he's hosting the dinner, saying that the Al Smith dinner is not red or blue, it's red, white, and blue, and it's about patriotism. Lindsay.
Zach, will Harris's decision not to attend in person have an impact on her?
You know, Lindsay, I don't think it's a big impact in terms of voting numbers. But as Olivia just pointed out, Cardinal Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, is out complaining about it and saying that it's sort of a snub. And I think you have to keep in mind, in a state like Pennsylvania, one of the key battleground states, 1/4 of the population is Catholic. And that's a state that the past few cycles has been won by fewer than 100,000 votes. So even a few folks getting offended by that and maybe not going out to the polls or even considering former President Trump could make the difference. And in addition to that, Pennsylvania, the past few cycles, has also dictated the way that Michigan and Wisconsin have voted. So big picture, it's not a lot of voters. But if you really look at the even bigger picture, a small number of voters getting upset about that could have a major impact in the results of this election.
Olivia, Rinaldi, and Hudak, thank you.